Okay, so the last time, last episode, we were talking about the Alfonso XII and how tricky it was to actually get to dive on her. So you had to drop a shot in that 7 metre beam, or what would happen is the shot would be dragged along the length of the ship, you know, as opposed to when you've got windward drift or the wind approaching the shore across a wreck. It's quite easy to put a shot and drag a shot into a wreck, because you've got 107 metres. On the Alfonso XII you'd have 107 metres to play with, but with the wind always approaching it on the bow, you really have to put it in that 7 metre beam, or shoot down the shot and tie in. Anyway, this particular day I was set to go diving with Ed, a good friend of mine, still is. Good mate of mine in the Canary Islands, still working there and diving there, Alfonso XII still, I believe. So I went down to dive the wreck with Ed, and what had happened was, you know, the diving industry is quite a complicated business in a lot of ways, sometimes a little bit sleazy. A competitor of mine had gone into one of the hotels I was working with, and he turned around and said to the hotel manager that he could do this, and you know, he promised him the earth. So the hotel manager phones me up and says, "Here, Tim, he says, you know, this guy's promised me this, that, and the other." He said, "What are you going to do?" And I thought, "Well, I'll give you the same." Not much choice. So I was a bit pissed off. Anyway, going down to do the dive, we got it all ready, and walking down to get on a boat, and I see this guy on the beach. So, you know, obviously being a bit of a lad from the East End of London, I walked over to him, gave him a bit of my mind, as you do, and you know, I was a bit angry. Adrenaline kicked in. I was a bit angry, and really we should have cut the dive there, but we didn't. We got on a boat and went out, and Ed said to me, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine, Ed." And we got to the mark. You know, again, we had about 1.5 metre swell running. We dropped a shot in what we hoped was the beam of the wreck, but the shot was moving, so we got into our gear. We shot down the shot, and the Alfonso XII, the top of the Alfonso XII is about 48. The bottom's in about 50, so it's about 2 metres, 3 metres proud. It's collapsed in on itself, and we were on the side of it. So there was a really very, very thick thermocline at about 45 metres, 47, 48 metres, something like that. So we'd gone through the thermocline. We picked up the anchor, and myself and Ed were skipping the anchor across the bottom like this to take it into the wreck. And Ed said to me, "Hang on, I'm just going to go and have a look and see what direction the wreck's in." So I'm like, "All right, Ed, yeah." And he's gone up the line a little bit, and where he'd signalled me, and I was still angry from this argument with this fella on the beach. I just gave him the okay without thinking. You know, it was just, yeah, okay, back, and really I hadn't actually understood what he was saying. I was just, because my mind was somewhere else. It wasn't where it should have been. And lifting that anchor across the bottom, quite quickly I started to overexert myself, and I started getting the old chokes there, and you know, I felt that I'd overbreathed. I wasn't getting enough air in, not getting enough oxygen in. I felt like I was suffocating. And right there at that moment, the only thing I could do is I was thinking, all I wanted to do was go to the surface, take the regulator out and get a lung of air, but I knew I couldn't do that, so I was fighting panic. I closed my eyes like that, and I must have, I don't know if I blacked out. I just closed my eyes, and anyway, when I opened them again, Ed had me under his arm. He was trying to get me back to the ascent, and I recovered myself quite quickly. I went, "Yeah, I'm all right." And we came up the line. We ran a little bit of deco that we had to do. Got back in the boat. Now, obviously, I was pretty shocked, and that feeling that when you're underwater and you feel that you're not getting enough gas in, enough air in, enough oxygen in, you feel that you're suffocating. It's the worst feeling ever. It takes a long time to shift it. It took me a long time to get over that feeling. Anyway, so if you want to know what happened next, tune into the next episode of I'm a Tec Diver, Get Me Out of Here.